Guys, welcome back to another video. We have lots to talk about today. As usual, we have a new Xbox update, a feature that they are finally giving us with the mobile app, which has been a long time coming. Some major updates with Ubisoft and Assassin's Creed and Star Wars Outlaws. And we also have some other updates here with the PS5 Pro and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. But before we continue, if you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, make sure to hit that subscribe button, share the video, check out my Spotify in the description, and like the video if you like it and dislike it if you don't like it. But we will start off here and we will talk about the September updates for Xbox. Now, this is not a major update, but there is one thing here that I don't know why it took this long to happen, but I'm happy that it is here. But we'll start off with the PC gaming side of things. There will be some updates here to the PC gaming app. The Game Bar Compact mode is now available to all PC players on Windows, and it just gives you that more compact experience. You can kind of see a picture of it here. Makes it more like the menu that pops out when you hit the Xbox button on your console, where everything is just in one place and you can scroll up and down and tab over to get to everything that you do need. Pretty nice. I mean, I'm happy that they are making the actual experience on the Windows app much better, because it definitely needs improvements, and they have been doing that. There's also a nice thing here, which is more game management options, something that I've been seeing pop up on my PC when I've been downloading games via the Xbox app, and that is the ability to select what you actually want to download with each specific game. As we know, games today are just massive, huge install files, and a lot of them have DLC and add-ons that maybe you don't need when you are installing it before you want to actually play the game. You can choose now exactly what you're going to be installing and save tons of gigabytes on your SSD rather than downloading the whole thing and not even accessing the entire file. Now, here's the good thing, and something that has been a long time coming. It is the Xbox app on mobile. I've always been confused why they had two apps. They had the Xbox mobile app, and then they had Game Pass. And you couldn't get access to anything Game Pass unless you were in the Xbox Game Pass app. It looks like they're finally going away with this. And they say here that they will no longer support new downloads of the Xbox Game Pass app starting in November, because they are integrating it all on the Xbox app on mobile. You can see everything that you can do on this app, like your social, your game captures, you get notifications, and you can play and install games to your console from the app itself. But the big thing that they are adding here is the Game Pass section, where you can view your membership, browse the catalog, and view and claim perks. And all that is going to be accessible. And then if you want to play games, I'm guessing it just brings you over to the xbox.com/play section browser from the app itself, because it does say here, Game Pass Ultimate members can stream select games on iOS or Android devices using a supported browser at xbox.com/play. So I wonder how that's going to work when you see a game in the Game Pass section, you hit play. Is it opening up the browser, or is it keeping you within the app with just kind of like a browser that you don't really notice that you are entering into? So that will be interesting to see, because right now on the Game Pass app, if you hit play, it launches directly into the app itself. We'll see what happens here with Game Pass. But I'm happy that they are streamlining this, because it was kind of annoying always having to go back between the two different applications. Now, when it comes to the console, just a couple of updates here. Small ones, but some nice ones. There's an update coming where you can pre-download your games to start playing when the update is live. It says no more waiting for game updates to download, which is a nice thing, because as you know, there's always updates with all of these games, and sometimes you only have a certain amount of time to sit down and play them, and then you log on and you're sitting there for countless minutes waiting for the update to hit so that you can actually jump in and play. So that will now be able to be pre-downloaded, and there is a new wishlist notification for free to play days and more that they say here. So that's the September update for Xbox. Not massive, but I'm happy that they are streamlining those two mobile apps going forward. All right, one of the biggest games that's going to be releasing this year is going to be Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. It looks great, but there's still those questions about 60 frames per second. What is the performance mode, the quality mode, all of that stuff. Now, I don't know if this is confirmation or if this is a mistake, but we do have some positive news here, something that is looking like it is going to hit 60 frames per second for the game, as on the Xbox store it is listing 60 FPS, Dolby Atmos, ray tracing, and variable refresh rate as supported capabilities for Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. So that is a good thing. Very happy to hear this. I'm guessing they'll have that quality mode and performance mode on console, and then on PC you're going to be able to kind of just pick your settings on exactly how you want to play it. But it should definitely have 60 FPS. You don't want the chat about this game as it gets closer to release, being what is the performance mode? Is it 30 frames per second? We saw how that took over a game like Starfield and everything. So you don't want it taking over the release of Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, but I'm pretty sure we'll have that 60 FPS, and I can't wait to jump in when this game it does release. All right, jumping over here, we'll talk about Microsoft Rewards, because that's always been a hot topic recently because they have made it worse. But if you are in certain regions, there is a new bonus coming here that will give you 1,000 points per month, which is a nice boost to add in there so you can go out there and purchase the things you want, like more months of Game Pass or whatever. I usually have mine set for Game Pass whenever I reach the amount of points that allows you to get that. But it says starting this month, Microsoft Rewards has begun rolling out a new PC weekly bonus to users in certain regions, which allows them to earn up to 1,000 points per month playing Xbox games on PC for at least 5 days a week. So jumping into a game 5 days a week, you're going to get 1,000 points. As of right now, it looks like it's only available in Germany and Mexico, but you can presume here that they are going to roll this out to other regions in the future. They usually just test it out and then they give it to other places in the world. So 1,000 points per month. People will be happy to see that to help increase their Microsoft Rewards points. Okay, let's jump over here and let's talk about Ubisoft, because we talked about this yesterday about them canceling their press kits and their TGS show, and there was a question as to what was going on here, and there was two conclusions that I come to. It's either getting delayed or there's just something here that they wanted to fix, or they didn't want to piss off the people in Japan with the whole controversy surrounding, and they just kind of wanted to fly under the radar rather than bring more attention with all the negativity surrounding the game. It was the first option, which is the game is getting delayed. Yves Guillemot put out an internal memo to staff about the company struggles and mentions here that Star Wars Outlaws, they talk about that, but then they also talk about how Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to be delayed until February 14th. We'll read through it because there's actually a lot of interesting things here that he does say about Ubisoft and the direction that it is going. It says, we just issued a press release announcing a revised financial targets for the current fiscal year. First, Star Wars Outlaws initial sales proved softer than expected, despite solid ratings from players that recognize the game's faithful transcription of the original trilogy's essence and richness. 76 on Metacritic, 3.85 out of 5 on the PlayStation Store, and about 4 out of 5 on Xbox, and 4.4 out of 5 on Epic. And you look at those numbers and you think, okay, it's not that low. I mean, it's not terrible. 76 on Metacritic. I know people will just not play anything unless it's like 90 plus, but 76 with the amount of reviews that do come in, it isn't a terrible score. It's a good score. It's not crazy. It's not out of this world. It is a good score. And I have to say, Ubisoft did this to themselves, in my opinion, with the way that they handled this review. I received a review code for Star Wars Outlaws, but there is no chance that someone who doesn't do this full time that I was going to be able to get out a full review within a singular week for this game. It was just too vast. It isn't the biggest open world, but there's just so many little things you need to explore and do to understand what they were getting at with the world building in Star Wars Outlaws. And you could tell with a lot of these reviews that did come out for it, people just rushed through the campaign because they didn't have enough time to explore everything. And I think that really did hurt the review scores. They should have given more time for the embargo, for the reviewers to really jump into the world, because Star Wars Outlaws, the world that Massive built, is phenomenal. They did a great job of really bringing that Star Wars feel to it. And the more you play, the more you explore, you do start to feel that. And I feel if the reviewers did more of that, the review scores would overall be higher. So they really don't have anyone to blame but themselves about just the length of time that they gave for playing this game before the reviews do come out. So they don't like the review scores there. And they're basically saying, that's one of the reasons I think that they believe that the game is a little softer than expected with the amount of sales. They continue here and say, while players praise the sense of detail and the beauty of the graphics, the effectiveness of the reputation system and enduring characters like Nyx, some also noted areas of improvement. The development teams are already hard at work on this, focusing on save issues, stealth mechanics, and more frequent quest checkpoints and better NPC AI. I'm confident that these updates will significantly improve the player experience by allowing us to deliver on the promise and make Star Wars Outlaws a must-play game and a long-term seller. And yes, those things definitely need to be improved. And I think if you're a Star Wars fan, you will enjoy the game. Say in parallel, the publishing teams and developers are closely collaborating to increase the engagement with the game and boost player acquisition during Black Friday Friday and the holiday season. And I believe their financial reports are just around the corner. So they're kind of setting this up to say, hey, we know it didn't do as well as the shareholders would want, but we are expecting this to do better over the holiday season. Now, when it comes to Assassin's Creed Shadows, they mention here that in today's ultra competitive market, players expect extraordinary experiences and ultra polished games on day one, which is absolutely correct. And this is what every company should be striving for. And they say we need to continue and improve when it comes to fine tuning our games and delivering outstanding gameplay. This is what will enable Ubisoft again to create the best games in the industry. Consequently, we decided to delay Assassin's Creed Shadows to February 14th, 2025. So they've delayed Assassin's Creed Shadows. I'm guessing they were looking at it and saying it's not polished enough. We don't want to push this out and just to appease, I guess, the shareholders and financials and everything like that, get it out in the certain quarter that they were hoping it would be released. But they're going to bring it back. They're going to polish it. They're going to make it a better experience, and they're going to release it in February, which is now becoming an absolutely insane month. I think that's the same release date as Avowed. So February is completely stacked with games. Now, it says the game is already playable and of high quality and has all the features the team wanted to integrate into this ambitious experience. This unusual decision at such an advanced stage is motivated by our desire to offer an optimal experience from launch on all platforms and various PC configurations, and to remove the small friction we typically use to address in post-launch title updates. So hopefully we're getting the best experience right when it does come out. And they say we will also use the extra time to complement the experience with a few impact secondary quests that will bring even more memorable moments. Now, this is where things get very interesting with this letter, because he talks about the way that they sell their games with the microtransactions, with the season passes, and where they launch their games. And one of the most annoying things, especially to PC players, is not putting games on Steam. I think there's no reason not to do that. You're just kind of shooting yourself in the foot, especially in today's day and age where you need to make as much money as possible because of these development costs. Not putting your game in the most popular PC launcher is just a terrible move. And they're realizing this. They're backpedaling here, and they are saying that Assassin's Creed Shadow will again be available on Steam on launch day. So they're putting it out on Steam now, whereas previously it wasn't going to be there. And they say they're rethinking the season pass model for upcoming games. And for Assassin's Creed Shadows, all players will have access to the game at the same time. And those who have pre-ordered the game will get the first expansion for free. So they are addressing all of the stuff with the pre-orders and those really expensive editions where you get 3 days access that pretty much every company does now. But they're seeing that it's not paying off, giving the game now to everybody at the same time, and giving a free expansion, a first free expansion for Assassin's Creed Shadows. Another great decision from Ubisoft. Happy that they are doing that. Now, the other thing that has obviously hindered this game has just been the absolute polarization in online social media coverage about it, and the way that people think they've disrespected Japan. All of that stuff has played into the negativity surrounding this game. And they say here that lastly, I'd like to address the recent polarized coverage around our creative choices. We are an entertainment company. As such, our objective is not to endorse any specific agenda. Our mission has always been to entertain players and enrich their lives with original but memorable experiences that resonate with global audiences. So they're calling out everything that people have been saying about this game, and they say there's no agenda. I mean, that's for you to decide whether you believe that or not, but they are mentioning it here as one of the reasons that I think that they are delaying this game and making changes going forward before it does release. And there's a little bit more here, but nothing that interesting. But this was a big letter. This is the state of Ubisoft right now with their games and everything that is going on. So we'll see how it bounces back. I think Assassin's Creed Shadows is one of those games that's going to sell well regardless. See what happens in February. But if you're looking forward to playing it, you're not going to be playing it now until February 14th. And we have to also ask the question, Ghost of Yotei, which was announced yesterday, did that have any effect on Assassin's Creed being delayed? And they do mention this. Yves Guillemot says, I would like to say there's a lot of space for very high quality games, and those two games can sell very well. And I will add this to the conversation that Assassin's Creed Shadow is multi-platform. It has a far bigger base of potential sales than Ghost of Yotei, which is going to be locked to the PlayStation 5. So I don't think that would have a huge reason why they would wait to release this game. They know they have access exclusively to PC players, to Xbox players, and they also have access to PlayStation players. So I don't think it really is the same, but we'll see here how it does again, depending on the release date of Ghost of Yotei when it does come out in 2025. And now when it comes to Star Wars Outlaws, they do mention that again, like they were making a bunch of updates, but they also mentioned another big thing here again, Ubisoft backpedaling on the release strategy, which I think is a good thing. They are going to be releasing Star Wars Outlaws on Steam, and it will be available November 21st. They're trying to cash in, trying to get holiday sales, and they know they need to reach as many people as possible with everything that has been going on with AC, with the negativity towards Ubisoft and all of the stuff there. All right, to finish things off, if you are excited for the new Ghost game, it looks like there's going to be other spin-offs besides this. One of the big controversies that is popping up right now with this game is the main character. And I mean, there's stupidity on some of the arguments towards it, but I would say that something that is worth discussing is why did they end the story of Jin when a lot of people love Jin, and how is that going to affect the excitement for this game with a brand new protagonist? I mean, it does look great, but people love Jin, and now we're wondering here, what is going to be the next steps after this? Is every game going to be something brand new, a brand new character, a new time frame, or are they going to continue with this protagonist after this game is over? But it looks like there's going to be other spin-offs beyond this. They say here that Ghost of Yotei retrospectively changes the Ghost of Tsushima from a standalone game to the start of a franchise, which it says will include at least one movie and other spin-offs. So we could see many different Ghost games, not sequels to each character, but just different spin-offs and exploring different parts of feudal Japan, which I think is kind of a cool idea, unless you fall deeply in love with one of these characters and then you're going to be hoping for a sequel, which may not come. Well, we'll see what happens here, but I feel like we need to see some more gameplay of this. We've seen Ghost of Tsushima. It looks very similar to the PS4. One of the things people were talking about watching the trailer was that it wasn't a massive graphical upgrade, but I mean, the game already looks phenomenal, and we'll see how this game does run on PS5 and the PS5 Pro specifically, what big upgrade that brings when it does launch. All right, jumping over here, if you're a fan of Atlas games and you're looking forward to the upcoming Metaphor Refantazio, this is awesome news. They added a demo that you can go download now on all the platforms that it is releasing on. And it's a big demo. There's lots of content here to experience. This game does look phenomenal, but here is what the demo includes. It includes the beginning of the journey to lift the curse of the prince, the first 4 dungeons, the ability to unlock 7 of the 40 plus classes called archetypes. You get to meet 6 followers, including party members that will support the protagonist's journey, and much more. So there is a lot of stuff here, and what is really cool about this demo is that your progress carries over to the official game. They did something similar, which captured my attention to one of my favorite games this year with Unicorn Overlord. I played the demo. I hadn't heard much about the game. There wasn't that much marketing around it. Played the demo, fell in love with it, bought the collector's edition because of that, and it became one of my favorite games of the year. And I'm kind of thinking this may happen again here with Metaphor Refantazio. I'll definitely be checking it out. And finally, as we know, at the State of Play, they announced the remasters of Horizon Zero Dawn. And I mean, it's a game I don't think anybody was asking for a remaster. A game already looks good, plays good, doesn't really need this. But one of the most annoying things PlayStation does do with games releasing on PC is requiring the PlayStation Network. We talked about it yesterday with God of War Ragnarok and the mod that has been released to circumvent that. A big issue isn't just because people don't want to make an account. It's the fact that it's cut off in like 177 countries that don't allow you to make a PSN account. So it hurts all of those people that want to play the game but can't actually make a PSN account. And they are doing it again here. They're not learning their lesson. They don't care. For single player games, you're going to have to make a PSN account for Horizon Zero Dawn Remastered. So this is going to continue, and I'm sure we will see a mod or some sort right away for this when it comes out to circumvent it. But I'll end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.